Depending on the culture, of course, more than 70% of women like men who are funny and make them laugh. Why? Because these men seem to have everything under control and their life is easy, so they can afford to smile and be joyful and tell jokes. That's the truth. So, are you a funny man? Do you want to be funnier with girls? Watch this video until the end to see how you can improve your humor and tell more clever jokes. Let's see what we will cover in this video. First, we'll talk about types of humor and specific things you can say. Then, we'll cover how to relax and be more fun in general. Lastly, let's talk about types of humor to avoid. So if you're in a good mood, sit back, relax, and let's go, and see what are the types of humor and some specific things you can say. Types of humor and specific things to say that are funny. When someone says something people laugh at, think about why it was funny. Analyze the jokes of others, and more importantly, examine what you said that made people laugh. Was it the timing? When you said it? Was it the tone you said it with? Was the tone happy, sarcastic, angry, etc.? Was it the expression on your face? Was it strained, relaxed, emotional, blank, etc.? Was it the body language? Open, closed, what was your pose, etc.? When you find a pattern to what makes people laugh, use that information to create more jokes. Now, we're going to look at different types of humor. Canned jokes are seldom funny. The kind of jokes you find in lists compiled by other people tend to be hackneyed. The truly funny remark is one that applies to your particular situation, or a story related to the situation about something unexpected you experienced. Canned jokes are fine if you and others share a similar sense of humor. But there's another problem: those jokes. They don't make you come off as funny. To be seen as funny, comment on the situation you're in, then relying on someone else's material. Misreading a situation on purpose is often funny. At a birthday party recently, we were split into 3 teams. In the games we played against each other, my group had by far the worst result. I remarked, "Well, at least we got 3rd place," and the table laughed. People laughed because I intentionally misinterpreted the situation, pretending that 3rd place was a positive outcome when really it meant coming in last. How to use. What misunderstanding can you point out in a situation that everyone considers to be obvious? Comment on a situation in an obviously sarcastic way. During the hailstorm, nothing's refreshing like a breeze. Sarcasm, if overused, can quickly make you seem bitter. Use it sparingly so that people don't think of you as a cynical person. How to use. What's an overly positive response to a negative situation? Or what's an overly negative response to a positive situation? Tell awkward stories people can see themselves in. People tend to like stories that reflect their own experiences. You can mention fixing your hair in a store window, and then suddenly making eye contact with someone on the other side of that glass. Because people experience this often, they can more easily relate to it and find it funny. How to use. Those awkward stories are a safe bet if the audience can relate to them. Bring up unexpected contrasts. A friend, standing in his kitchen, said, "When I think about how the universe will cool down and fade away in billions of years, folding a box before putting it into recycling feels demotivating." This is funny because there's a stark contrast between the end of the universe and folding cartons. How to use. The opposite of what you are talking about can make a good joke. Say something obviously wrong. You're in a hurry with your friends to head out, and you just need to run to the bathroom while they put on their shoes. You say, "I'll be right back, I'm just going to take a quick bath." It's funny because it seems wrong. Why is the joke funny? There's an instant when we realize that you're joking, and then we laugh about it. How to use. Saying something that is so obviously wrong, it's hard to believe anyone could take it seriously, can be hilarious. Turn something someone said into a catchphrase. In an interview, the speaker said that something was fun to a certain degree in a particular accent. Your group soon began repeating the catchphrase, using different forms of the accent. How was the movie? It was good to a certain degree. How was it at your parents' place? It was nice to a certain degree. How was the food? It was tasty to a certain degree. How to use. If the group reacts to something someone says, or if you watched a movie together and a character said something memorable, and that phrase can be applied to completely different situations, that's funny, but don't overuse it. Point out comedic truths about a situation. My father, an artist, once said that he was glad I didn't become an artist because the career is so unstable. My friend realized that my life as an entrepreneur has been just as unsafe. What a relief to him that you became an entrepreneur instead. This made us laugh because he picked up on the truth of our situation. Being an entrepreneur is just like being an artist. Both involve living with uncertainty. How to use. It's funny to point out what other people miss. If you see a clear truth about a situation that others don't, comment on it briefly and directly. Don't bring up sad or embarrassing truths just for the sake of being clever. When you tell stories, make sure there's a twist at the end. One morning, my friend woke up so tired that he found it hard to drag himself from his bed. But he still made coffee, got dressed, and fixed himself breakfast. Then he realized that it was 1:30 in the morning and promptly threw up all over his kitchen floor. The story was funny because there was a plot twist at the very end. If he had begun the story by saying that he woke at 1:30 but thought it was 8 a.m., there would have been no unexpected twist and nobody would find it funny. How to use. If something unexpected happens in your life, it can make for a good story if you reveal the surprise by the end. How you say it is as important as what you say. Some spend too much time thinking about what they are going to say and not enough energy on how they will deliver their lines. The way you deliver a joke is as important as its content. Ever heard someone say about a comedian, "It doesn't matter what he or she says, it's always funny." It's because of the voice he or she uses when they say it. Sometimes, an unemotional delivery can make the punchline in a joke even funnier. How to use. When you see friends or comedians pull jokes that get a good reaction, pay attention to how they say the joke. What can you learn from how they deliver it? Tips on how to be funnier. Being funny is not necessary in order to make a good first impression. You don't have to be funny in conversations to enjoy someone's company. Take, for example, the people who try too hard at being funny and end up annoying others rather than entertaining them. In many movies, the main characters are not jokesters. They achieve their likability in other ways. Being the funny one is just one way to make yourself appealing or enjoyable. If you don't think being funny is your strong suit and feel uncomfortable trying to be funny, then just be yourself. While being able to make people laugh is important, having the ability to relax and be easygoing around others can bring you much more success in life. Instead of pulling jokes to get laughs, say the things you laugh at yourself. In classes on writing, comedy, and public speaking, instructors tell their students, "Don't try to be funny, just focus on being clear." It means that you don't want to come off as someone who is trying too hard to be funny, or, more simply, a clown. If you wouldn't find a joke funny if someone else told it, don't try telling that joke. Humor is absurdism presented so that everyone can realize its ridiculousness. See what humor style you have. Humor patterns come in many forms. Our sense of humor may resemble one type more than others, but chances are it falls within a particular category. Learning your sense of humor can help you identify the kind of jokes that make you and other people laugh. If you feel stiff, practice mindsets to take the situation less seriously. People sometimes worry that if they don't do well socially or make new friends, it will be a failure. This pressure can make us stiff. Instead of seeing socializing as an end in itself, it can be helpful to think of it as practice for the real world, where you will encounter many new people. The point of socializing is not necessarily to be perfect, but rather to learn from your experiences so you can do better next time. If we consider the situation less seriously, it will seem less threatening. Ask yourself what a confident person would have done. Often, we feel stiff and nervous because of the pressure to make good impressions in social situations. Confident people make mistakes, but they don't get caught up in them. It can help to remind yourself of what a confident person would do if she made your mistake. Brush it off and move on. Concluding that they wouldn't care can help us feel comfortable taking chances in social settings. Try improv theater might help. Improv theater offers a great opportunity to develop your ability to think quickly on your feet and come up with humorous remarks. You can search for improv theater near me on Google to find local classes. To become a quicker thinker, walk around the room and practice saying the name of objects. This is an exercise to help you improve your fluency in speech. Walk around the room and name everything you see: table, lamp, iPhone. Do this every day for 1 to 2 weeks and watch how quickly your ability with words improves. It's also helpful to label an object with several different words. For example, you might call the table desk, but also use other descriptors such as furniture and object. Watch stand-up and comedy shows to reflect on why the funny parts are funny. Whenever the audience laughs, stop and consider why that joke was funny to them. How are they responding to similar jokes in a different way? When you start to see the patterns in how the audience reacts, you can build on that. For example, if they laugh in response to a certain type of joke, puns, for example, then you can use more jokes like that in the future. If you're telling a funny, outrageous story, it's often funnier if you tell it in a low-key way. Telling a story with an excited voice and smile can make you seem like you are trying too hard to be funny. Instead, let the joke be funny in itself. Humor is often about the unexpected. If people aren't certain what will happen next, will there be a joke? What will happen? Their reactions are more explosive. Don't try to be funny all the time. 1 or 2 jokes during a conversation are enough to make people view you as funny. But if they start expecting every single thing you say is going to be hilarious, then it's easy for them to take you less seriously. Also, different people have different tastes in humor, so a joke that appeals to you might not appeal to someone else. What is considered funny by one person may not be so to another. You can learn which jokes work in different social settings by observing friends and the reactions they get. If you get stuck in your head trying to chase fun things to say, it can help to instead observe the situation and let thoughts come to you. Humor is often expressed in relation to a particular situation. It may not always be funny on its own, but if you can relate it back to something that happened just moments ago, it becomes hilarious. However, thinking too much about what you want to say can make it harder for people to understand your intentions. Focus on being present in the situation. Bring your attention back to what's happening around you when your mind starts to wander. Type of humor to avoid. Being funny can make you more interesting, but relying on offensive humor can alienate people. For example, teachers who used funny, rather than offensive jokes in humor, were viewed as more relatable by students. It's important to be aware of the types of humor that can hurt people, because some individuals use their sense of humor in ways that are self-destructive and leave others feeling bad about themselves. Put down humor. One of these detrimental types of humor is that of making fun of someone else, also known as put down humor. While laughter is often called the best medicine, there's no such thing as a free laugh. There's always an opportunity cost. Once or twice making fun of someone can be funny, but 3 times is a sure sign that you're bullying. As a rule of thumb, make a goal for people to leave conversations with you feeling like a better person. When you make fun of someone else, not only are you degrading them and hurting their feelings, but your behavior also reflects poorly on yourself. Put down humor is an aggressive type of humor used to criticize and manipulate others through teasing, sarcasm, or ridicule. It's a socially acceptable way to deploy aggression. Put down humor is a form of bullying that does as much harm as more obvious forms of verbal aggression. Self-deprecation. People often use humor as a defense mechanism when they feel threatened. This type of hate-me humor, in which people draw attention to their own flaws or inadequacies for the purpose of making themselves look foolish, rather than poking fun at someone else, is an example of this phenomenon. Humiliating yourself can lead to depression and anxiety and make other people feel uncomfortable. Don't joke about your vulnerabilities. They're no laughing matter. So here are our tips on how to become a funnier man. Because men with a good sense of humor are more likable and have a clear ways to women as well. This is an important skill to have, and one that many men struggle with. But it's not impossible to become funny and make people laugh. It just takes practice. If you like this video, hit that button and subscribe to our channel for more tips on how to become a real alpha man.